Good morning everybody. Introduction to Human Development. Under this topic, today we are going to deal with the lesson Moral Development. Objectives. To understand the concept of moral development, the second objective is to understand the Lawrence Kohlberg theory of moral development, and the third objective is to understand the Piaget's theory of moral development. Before going to moral development, let us see what is morality. Morality refers to doctrine or system of beliefs, values or principles that govern the human conduct in two ways: by prescribing positive behavior that benefit others and by prescribing the negative actions that harm others. The former set of behavior often are called as pro-social behavior, which includes sharing, helping and comforting. In terms of moral judgment, these actions are viewed as good and ought to be carried out. The later type of actions often referred to as negative morality, and they include the violation of others' rights, welfare, such as hitting, harming or otherwise injuring others physically or psychologically, and these actions are viewed as bad and which one ought not to do. Morality has been defined as conscience or set of cultural social rules governing the appropriateness of social behavior that has been internalized by the individual. Moral development is internalization and organization of these guiding principles. Initially, the baby's moral development is guided by impulse. They judge the right and wrong in relation to the pleasure or pain rather than in terms of good or bad or as harmful to others. The child is too young intellectually to realize that an act is wrong unless ill effects follow it. They think that only their behavior affects them personally and therefore does what pleases them regardless of the effect on the others. The child feels no obligations to modify his behavior on behalf of others unless his behavior is accompanied by unpleasant consequences. Hence, he acts on the primitive needs, impulses and pleasure principle. Kohlberg's theory of moral development is an adaptation of developmental theory of Piaget's. According to the theory, moral reasoning develops in 6 stages, each more adequate at responding to moral dilemma than the before ones. He identified 3 broad levels of moral development with 2 stages at each level. Pre-conventional level. At first, the broad level of moral development is the pre-conventional level, where the morality is based on external forces. The children confined to the rules to avoid punishment or to obtain personal rewards, and their reasoning reflects a belief that goodness or badness is determined by consequences. Moral values reside in the external happenings in bad acts rather than in the persons and standards. The level is divided into 2 stages. Stage 1, the punishment and obedience orientation. During this first stage, the child views adult as all powerful and all knowing authority and submits unquestioningly to him. This is seen in children who are below 10 years. Obedience is valued for its own sake and motivation for acting normally is to avoid punishment. The children have difficulty in considering the other points of view, and the actions are evaluated in terms of their physical consequences, such as the amount of damage done. The second stage in this level is the instrumental or relativist orientation. It appears at the age of 10. The children believe that the rules should be followed when it is in one's best interest to do so. Morality is based on one's own needs or interest. Goodness or badness refers to what one does or does not satisfy one's needs. What are the characteristics of the pre-conventional level? The child defines a wrong as those things that he gets punished for and right as obeying the commands of authorities. Authorities here are the parents or teachers. When the moral judgment is fully developed, the child defines a right as whatever works out for him, and the criteria of the child uses to judge the right and wrong is determined by self-interest. The rules are unchangeable and command from the higher authorities. The understanding of the rule is also limited to that the application of them is very inconsistent. Then moving on to the second level of moral development, it is called the conventional level. At this level, the individual strives to win the praise and recognition for good conduct and for maintaining social order. Moral values reside in performing the right rules for maintaining the conventional order and expectation of others. Stage 3, interpersonal orientation. It begins in the early adolescence, that is from 13 to 14 years of age. They believe that doing right is what pleases the other people. Individuals are motivated to be seen by others as being nice and good. Individuals show more awareness and concern for others' feelings and expectations than that of the earlier stages. The child sees good behavior is necessary intent of the child's action as it elicits approval of others. Fourth stage in this level is social order maintenance orientation. In this stage, the child becomes oriented towards the authority and rules. Maintenance of rules and respect for authority becomes one's duty. The characteristics of the child at this level are aware of intentions and personal differences that should be considered when judging the actions. The second characteristic is concerning about the ways in which the action and responses damage relationship between the persons and groups. And the third characteristic is to see all laws having an equal importance. So, these are some of the characteristics of the child in the second level of moral development. Then the third level is the post-conventional level. The third and the highest broad level of moral development is post-conventional level. The individual is personally committed to a set of principles that are shared with others, but go beyond the particular authority figures. Moral standards are internalized and become a part of an individual. No longer they are tied to the rules of authority or society, but is able to organize and reanalyze the moral people in that particular situation. Stage 5, social contract orientation. At this stage, the morality reflects a sense of obligation to uphold the social laws and contracts that protect the people's right. The individuals have an awareness of many points of view and have a desire to a greatest number of people. Moral behavior is no longer governed by one's own duty or by obedience to the letter of law, but by the principle that underline these laws. The sixth stage is the universal or ethical orientation. In this stage, the right and wrong are based on self-chosen ethical principles. The rules are not concrete, they are abstract, and the moral principle of universal justice and respect for all the individuals. When laws violate these moral principles, individuals should act in accordance with their principles rather than the laws. Kohlberg defines or describes this stage as potential stage. This is the Kohlberg's theory of moral development in 3 levels. Now, after understanding Kohlberg's moral development, let us move on to see the Piaget's theory of moral development. The child's progression in cognitive development is paralleled by the child's moral development, and it also evolves in a sequence. First period is the pre-moral period, that is from birth to 6 years. It is the first stage of moral development in which the young children do not get the understanding of cooperative rules and goals associated while playing the game. The focus of early phase of this period is on self highly egocentric, and later the self is on the caretaker or the parent. The major characteristics of this phase is a shift from self to permanent object, that is the parent or the caretaker. The children also evaluate actions in terms of their consequence rather than the intentions, good or bad, of the actor. The children between the age from 6 to 10 years react strongly to the rule violations. They believe that the right and wrong are based on the consequences associated with the action. When an action results in positive consequence, it is as good, and when an action results in negative or negative consequences, they view that action as bad regardless of the intentions behind that action. The second stage is the heteronomous moral stage that occurs in the age group of 6 to 10 years. Their moral decisions are based on the authority of others. They think that the rules must be obeyed as they are sacred and unaltered. Any act that conforms to a rule is good, and any act that does not conform is viewed as bad. Judgment about morality are based on conforming to established rules set by the powerful adults. It is the period or time of moral absolutism. The rules are ordinarily viewed as emanating from a parent or an authority. Breaking a rule always leads to punishment. Piaget refers to this kind of belief as immanent justice. Autonomous moral reality that occurs or develops after 10 years of age. The children's idea about the rules are no longer rigid and constrained as they had been. Older children's understanding of morality is based on the knowledge that rules can be changed, and everybody agrees on the change. Piaget referred this stage as autonomous morality stage because the rules can be changed by the will of those involved in the game. They are more likely to believe that the punishment should fit the crime. This moral realistic view reflects the children's increased flexibility and perspective taking as they move beyond the operational thinking and into the formal operational thinking. The obedience to authority declines in favor of autonomy based on mutual respect. The children move from focus on authority to interactions in concrete situations. The moral value depends on the mental relationship between the peers to an equal give and take basis in a concrete situation. Piaget refers to this stage as period of developing or emerging moral reciprocity. With the attainment of the formal operational thinking, the child shifts from the focus on the concrete to realistic application of moral values and ideals to a special situation. This is known as moral relativity. This develops in the children at the age group of 11 to 12 years. So, after understanding the Piaget's theory of development, let us move on to see the factors which affect the moral development. The first important factor is the family. The socio-economic status, the education of the family members, it's a critical variables for development of moral development in children. Parental variables. like the education of the parents, the occupational status, parent interaction, parental attitudes, child rearing practices, parental disciplining and guidance, they impact the moral development. Then the next factor is the peer group interactions. Interactions with the peer gives an opportunity for developing morality in children. School environment. School environment is an important learning avenue for morality with its various teaching and learning interactions. Teachers. The children find teachers as inspiring models. They tend to identify and imitate the teachers and idealize their teaching. Through this, the moral principles could be acquired by the children. Neighborhood and community. The neighborhood environment inspires both good and bad behavior in children, similar as peer influence. Personal variables of the child. Personality traits like disabilities, superior abilities all contribute to the moral development. Culture and tradition. A powerful variable that shapes the moral fabric of the society in which the child is living. Religion. Each religion has its own interpretation of what is moral behavior, and children learn through these religious principles. As we have understood before, morality is the conscience or set of cultural or social for governing the appropriate behavior, appropriate social behavior that has been internalized by the individual. Morality is a set of principles or values that help the individual to distinguish between right and wrong. We also understood that morality becomes a fundamental and important part of the children's life as soon as they start developing a relationship with others. The older children gradually generalize their moral concepts and they refer to any situation rather than specific situation. So, after understanding what is moral development, after having an understanding of Kohlberg's moral development, Piaget's theory of moral development, and after having seen the factors which are influencing moral development, let us move on to see the components of moral behavior. Moral behavior is composed of 4 components. The first one is interpreting situation. Identifying the possible course of action in a given situation as a potential behavior would affect the welfare of others. Second component is determining appropriate moral course of action. At this point, the individual is aware of several alternate courses of action as well as how each one affects the welfare of the others. The third component is deciding on what one will actually do. The individual has already selected the morally appropriate course of action and now must decide what he should do. The fourth component is implementing the chosen course of action. It involves thinking through a plan of concrete behavior for executing the chosen course of action. Now, we will see the emergence of moral development and personality during adolescence. One of the most important developmental tasks of adolescents must master is learning what the group is expecting of them and willing to mold their behavior to conform to these expectations without the guidance, supervision and threat of punishment they experienced as children. They are expected to replace the specific moral concepts of childhood with general moral principles and to formulate their own moral code which will act as a guide to their behavior. By adolescence, the boys and girls have reached what the Piaget has called the stage of formal operation in cognitive ability. They are now capable of considering all the possible ways of solving a particular problem and can reason on the basis of hypotheses or propositions. They can look at their problem from several points of view and can take many factors into account when solving them. According to Kohlberg, the third level of moral development, that is the post-conventional morality, should be reached by the adolescent age. There are three major tasks in achieving the adult morality. The first one is replacing the specific concepts with general moral concepts. The second is formulating these newly developed concepts into moral code or guideline for their own behavior. And the last one is assuming control over one's own behavior. These transitions are difficult for many adolescents. Some fail to make the shift to adult morality during adolescence and must finish this task in early adulthood. Others not only fail to make the shift, but they also build a moral code on socially unacceptable moral concepts. So, after having understood the moral development during the adolescence, we will now move on to see building a moral code. When they reach adolescence, children no longer accept an unquestioning way of moral code handed down to them by the parents, teachers, or even their peer groups. They now want to build their own moral code on the basis of the concept of right and wrong, in which they have changed and modified to meet the more mature level of development, and which they have supplemented with rules and laws from the parents and teachers. Some adolescents even supplement their moral codes with the knowledge derived from their religious teaching. Building a moral code is difficult for adolescents because of the inconsistency in the standards of right and wrong they encounter in daily life. These inconsistencies confuse them and impede their progress in building a moral code which can be only satisfactory to them, but which will also lead to socially approved behavior. Sooner or later, most adolescents discover, for example, the pair of different socio-economic groups, different religions, and different racial backgrounds have different codes of what is right and what is wrong. That their parents, teachers' codes are often stricter than those of their contemporaries. Many adolescents feel that the social lies or the lies told to avoid hurting other people's feelings are sometimes justified. The same sort of confusion is apparent in high school and college students' attitudes towards cheating. Many feel that since it is widespread, their contemporaries must condone it, and they also claim that it is justified when they are pressurized to get good grades in order to be accepted by the college, and those succeed socially and economically in later life. The inner control of behavior. Since the parents and teachers cannot watch adolescents as closely as they did when they were children, adolescents must now assume the responsibility of controlling their own behavior. The fear either of the punishment or of social disapproval is the best deterrent to wrongdoing. Today, it is recognized as outer control or source of motivation or effective. The studies on juvenile delinquents, for example, reveal that the punishment not only does not deter the willingness of wrongdoing, but also often contribute to it. There is also evidence that the fear of being shamed loosens its effectiveness as a deterrent to misbehavior when there is a little likelihood that the others will know of the misbehavior, or if the individual feels that they will be able to rationalize their actions or project the blame on the others. Development of consciousness. The studies on moral development have emphasized that the only effective way of the people of any age can control their own behavior is through developing their consciousness. Consciousness has inner force that makes the external controls unnecessary. When the children or adolescent learn to associate pleasant emotions with group approved behavior and unpleasant emotions with group disapproved behavior, they will have the necessary motivation to behave in accordance with the group standards. Under such condition, the individual feels guilty when they realize that their behavior is falling below the social expectations, and while the shame is aroused only when they are aware of unfavorable judgments of their behavior by the members of the social group. The behavior that is controlled by guilt is thus inner controlled, while that is controlled by the shame is outer controlled. In morally mature individuals, both guilt and shame are present. However, guilt plays more important role than in shame in controlling the individual behavior in absence of external control. So, this is the way the consciousness develops in the individual. What are the fundamental changes in morality during adolescence? The moral judgment becomes psychologically expensive in the sense that it takes an emotional toll and creates psychological tension. The individual's moral outlook becomes progressively abstract and less concrete. In adolescence, the moral convictions become more concerned with what is right and less concerned with what is wrong. Moral judgment becomes increasingly cognitive. Assertiveness. It is the ability to express yourself and your rights without violating the rights of the others. It is appropriately a direct, open and honest communication which is self-enhancing and expressive. Assertiveness basically means the ability to express one's thoughts and feelings in a way that clearly states the needs and keeps in line of communication open with the others. All individuals have the rights. They have rights to decide how to lead their lives, pursuing goals and dreams. They have the right to have their own values, beliefs, opinions. They have the right to tell others what they wish for, and they have the right to express and say no to their understanding. And one has the right to take time to formulate ideas before expressing them. So, many people feel attending to legitimate needs and their assisting rights is being selfish. Selfishness means being concerned about only one's rights without regarding the others. Hence, being assertive is not being selfish. Assertiveness is also mistaken as aggressiveness. Aggressiveness is expressing one's own right as at the expense of disregarding or humiliating others, but assertiveness is not aggressiveness. So, today we have learnt what is moral development. Then we have learned the Kohlberg's theory of moral development, Piaget's theory of moral development. Next, we try to understand what are the factors that are affecting the moral development. Then we have seen how one builds this moral code and consciousness. Hope you have enjoyed the lesson. Thank you.